You don't lose respect all at once. You lose it moment by moment, every time you stay silent when someone crosses the line. And you know it. Most people spend their lives swallowing disrespect, telling themselves they're keeping the peace, pretending it doesn't bother them, even while their body tightens, their instincts scream, and something inside quietly fractures. They explain too much, apologize for things they didn't do, laugh off comments that cut deeper than they'll ever admit. They hope kindness will save them. It won't. Respect doesn't work that way, and Stoic philosophy has known this for thousands of years. Respect is not given to the loudest person in the room. It's given to the one who is grounded, steady, and unshakably clear about their worth. Today, you'll learn 7 Stoic ways to handle people who don't respect you, calmly, confidently, without losing your character. If you're tired of shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable, stay with me. This may be the most important lesson you hear all week. 1. The silent stare. When someone disrespects you, their goal is rarely the insult itself. The insult is just a tool. What they actually want is movement from you. They want to see your composure crack, your voice change, your confidence wobble. Because the moment you react emotionally, the hierarchy shifts. They gain control of the rhythm, the room, and the energy. That's why the silent stare is one of the most powerful Stoic responses you can use. It denies them the very thing they came to take. Picture this. You're in a meeting. You're making a valid point. Mid-sentence, someone cuts you off. Dismissive tone, subtle smirk, that casual disrespect meant to lower your status without looking aggressive. Most people panic internally. They rush to speak faster. They interrupt back. They over-explain. They try to win the moment. A Stoic does none of that. You stop talking, not abruptly, deliberately. You lift your eyes slowly and place them on the person who interrupted you. Your face stays neutral. Your posture doesn't change. Your breathing stays calm. You hold the gaze for just a second longer than comfort allows. And in that silence, the power shifts. Because now they're aware. They feel it. They expected resistance or submission. They got presence. The momentum they thought they had evaporates. The room notices the pause, and suddenly they feel exposed. Here's why this works. Human beings are wired to self-correct when they feel observed. It's a deep social instinct tied to dominance and accountability. When you react emotionally, you validate their behavior. When you stay composed, you force them to confront it. From a Stoic perspective, this is emotional mastery in action. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that other people's behavior is outside your control, but your response is not. The silent stare communicates one clear message without a single word. You do not control my inner state. You are not rushing to prove yourself. You are not scrambling for approval. You are not defending your worth. You are anchored, and anchoring yourself destabilizes anyone who relies on chaos to feel powerful. Here's how to execute it precisely. Pause. The interruption happens. Do nothing immediately. Let silence arrive before emotion. Eye contact. Lift your gaze calmly. No glare, no challenge, just awareness. Stillness. No fidgeting. No nervous gestures. No rushed response. That stillness communicates confidence far louder than words ever could. And here's the most important part. After the pause, you continue. At your pace, in your tone, without explanation. You've just set a boundary without confrontation. You didn't escalate. You didn't submit. You taught them, and everyone watching, exactly how you expect to be treated. The silent stare is not intimidation. It's self-respect expressed through composure. And once you master it, people who rely on subtle disrespect will think twice, because they've learned something crucial. You cannot be rattled, and you cannot be controlled. 2. Silence as your answer. There is a certain type of person who thrives on disrespect. They poke, they provoke, they drop comments that are just sharp enough to sting, then wait. Not for resolution, for reaction. To them, your emotional response is entertainment, proof of influence, a way to feel superior without earning it. That's why silence is one of the most powerful Stoic responses you can use, because silence removes the reward. Silence is not weakness. Silence is denial of access. When someone insults you and you erupt, they win. When someone mocks you and you rush to defend yourself, they win. When someone throws shade and you try to explain your worth, they win again. Every reaction feeds the behavior. But when someone tries to provoke you and you give them nothing, no words, no facial shift, no emotional movement, the entire structure collapses. Because now there is no payoff. Picture this. You're at a family gathering. A relative makes a passive-aggressive comment aimed straight at you. Well, not everyone can be successful, right? Most people feel the internal spike immediately, the urge to clarify, to list accomplishments, to correct the insult. But a Stoic doesn't rush. You let the words land, but you don't let them enter. You keep your posture relaxed. You blink once. You return your attention to your plate, your drink, your conversation. And something uncomfortable happens. The insult doesn't bounce back. It hangs in the air. The person who threw it is now standing alone with their bitterness exposed. The awkwardness spreads, not because of you, but because of them. Your silence wasn't surrender. It was refusal. Silence has a psychological weight that words can't match. Human beings are conditioned to expect exchanges, back and forth, attack and defense. When you break that pattern, you disrupt their script. They expected noise, they got calm, and calm forces self-awareness. From a Stoic perspective, this is self-command at its highest level. Epictetus taught that we are never obligated to respond to provocation, especially when responding would cost us control of our inner state. Silence declares something clearly. My peace is not available for negotiation. My dignity is not up for debate. My energy stays with me. But silence must be worn correctly. There is a difference between Stoic silence and fearful silence. Fearful silence collapses inward. Stoic silence stands upright. Here's how to use it properly. Listen. Hear the words without absorbing them. Information, not identity. Breathe. Slow breath, steady rhythm. This keeps your nervous system in command. No reaction, no smirk, no sigh, no rebuttal. Let the moment die naturally. And here's the truth most people miss. When you stop reacting, disrespect loses its purpose. People who rely on emotional chaos cannot tolerate calm. Silence turns the spotlight back onto them. You didn't ignore them, you exposed them. And once they realize their words cannot move you, cannot shake you, cannot access you, the dynamic changes permanently. Silence, when chosen with strength, is not absence. It is authority. 3. Stop explaining yourself. One of the most subtle and damaging forms of disrespect is not loud. It's quiet. It's the moment someone acts like your choices require their approval. They question your boundaries. They interrogate your decisions. They challenge your lifestyle, your pace, your priorities, as if you owe them an explanation for simply existing on your own terms. And without realizing it, many people fall straight into the trap. They over-explain, they justify, they soften their stance, they turn a clear decision into a courtroom defense. But here's the hard truth. The more you explain yourself, the more you teach people they are entitled to judge you. Over-explaining does not create understanding. It creates permission to push, permission to debate, permission to invalidate. This habit is usually born from fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, fear of disappointing someone, fear of conflict. But Stoicism teaches something radically different. You are responsible for your actions, not for other people's comfort with them. The moment you start justifying your choices, you shift roles. You are no longer the author of your life. You become the defendant in someone else's courtroom, and the verdict is never in your favor. Imagine this situation. You decide to spend a weekend alone to recharge. Someone responds with, "That's weird. Why wouldn't you come?" The insecure response begins immediately. "I've been busy. I'm tired. I just need time. It's nothing personal." Each sentence shrinks you. But the Stoic response is simple. "That's what I've chosen." And then silence. No apology, no explanation, no emotional cushioning. Or consider another moment. You decline a request that crosses your boundary, working late, lending money, doing a favor you don't have the capacity for. They push back. Why not? What's the big deal? This is where most people collapse into justification, but the Stoic stands firm. That doesn't work for me. Short, grounded, final. These statements are powerful because they assert autonomy. They say, I don't need permission to run my life. I don't need approval to protect my boundaries. I don't need consensus to make decisions. Healthy people respect this instantly. Disrespectful people challenge it because control was the goal all along. Stoicism helps you see the difference without arguing. Here's how to apply this discipline precisely. Short answers. Clarity signals confidence. Long explanations signal doubt. No justification. The moment you add "because," you invite negotiation. Move on, change the subject, continue your day. Don't linger. Lingering teaches people your boundary is flexible. And remember this, people who respect you don't need explanations. People who don't respect you will never be satisfied by them. Explaining yourself to the wrong person is a losing game. It drains energy, weakens posture, hands power to someone who never deserved it. The Stoic path is cleaner. Decide, state, proceed. The less you explain your life, the more control you reclaim over it. And the moment you stop treating your choices as public property is the moment real self-respect begins. 4. Set the distance. There comes a moment in every relationship, with friends, co-workers, even family, when you realize a hard truth. Respect is not just about what people say to you. It's about how their presence affects your energy. Some people drain you. Some belittle you subtly. Some repeatedly cross your boundaries and then act confused when you finally react. The Stoic response is not confrontation. It is not emotional speeches. It is not forcing someone to understand. It is distance, calm, deliberate, unapologetic. Distance is one of the most misunderstood forms of self-respect. It is not punishment. It is not revenge. It is protection. When someone consistently shows you they cannot treat you with dignity, The strongest move is not to fight for respect. It is to limit access. Stoicism teaches this clearly. You cannot control another person's character. You can only control how close you stand to it. Most people waste years trying to fix disrespectful relationships, long conversations, emotional explanations, endless chances. But a Stoic understands something crucial. Repeated disrespect is information, and information requires adjustment, not argument. Think of someone in your life who constantly minimizes your achievements, makes disguised insults, crosses boundaries, then laughs it off, drains you emotionally and leaves you tense. Most people keep explaining their feelings to someone who already knows they're hurting them. A Stoic does not. A Stoic creates distance. Distance works because it changes the emotional equation. When you stop allowing unlimited access, their words lose impact, their behavior loses leverage, their influence fades. You don't rush to respond. You don't jump when they call. You don't open your inner world to someone who's proven careless with it. You move from reactive to selective. Here is the Stoic three-layer method for setting distance with dignity. Layer 1, reduce frequency. You don't cut them off dramatically. You simply interact less. Fewer replies, shorter conversations, more space. This alone restores clarity. Distance removes emotional fog. Layer 2, reduce depth. Distance isn't just about time, it's about access to your inner world. You stop sharing vulnerabilities. You stop revealing plans. You stop giving emotional material to someone who misuses it. You remain polite, but no longer personal. Layer 3, reduce access. This is the deepest boundary. They no longer have automatic access to your attention, your schedule, your emotions, your energy. You decide when interaction happens. Access becomes earned, not assumed. And here's the key. You don't announce this shift. No speeches, no warnings, no emotional exits. Stoic distance is silent, steady, and unmistakable. And when it's time to step away fully, you do it without hostility. No insults, no scenes, no drama, just a quiet closing of the door. Because true self-respect does not require humiliation. It requires alignment. Here is the truth many avoid. You cannot force people to respect you, but you can absolutely control how close they stand to you. And sometimes the strongest act of self-respect is not fighting to stay in someone's life, but walking away from spaces that shrink you. Distance is not rejection, it is self-preservation. And when practiced with calm certainty, it teaches others exactly how valuable your presence truly is. 5. Use the Stoic pause and reply method. Disrespect rarely announces itself politely. It arrives fast. A sharp remark, a sarcastic tone, a public jab meant to catch you off guard. And before your mind fully registers what happened, your body reacts. Heart rate spikes, jaw tightens, words rush forward. This is the moment most people lose control, not because the disrespect wasn't real, but because the reaction was ungoverned. Stoicism was designed for this exact moment. The Stoics understood that power lives in the pause, the brief space between what happens and what you choose to do about it. If you skip that space, emotion takes the wheel. If you protect it, reason remains in command. Reacting instantly means your ego is speaking. Responding after a pause means your character is. Here's how the Stoic pause and reply method works in real life. Imagine someone takes a shot at you in front of others. Wow, you finally did something right for once. Most people fire back immediately. What's that supposed to mean? or they explain themselves to regain dignity. Either way, control is lost. Now apply the Stoic method. Step 1. Pause. The insult lands. You feel the sting, but you do not answer immediately. 2 to 3 seconds. One slow breath. This pause interrupts the emotional surge. It reminds your nervous system that you are in charge. Those seconds feel uncomfortable, but discomfort is the price of self-mastery. Step 2. Reframe. Inside the pause, ask one question. What response protects my dignity, not my ego? That question changes everything. You stop trying to win. You stop trying to hurt back. You stop trying to prove something. You see the comment for what it is, an attempt to provoke, to dominate, to feel superior. Once named, it loses its grip. Step 3. Respond with clarity, or don't now you choose. Sometimes the strongest move is silence. Other times, a single sentence is enough. That was unnecessary. I don't speak to people that way. We're not doing that. No raised voice, no sarcasm, no explanation. Short, clear, final. This is what separates strength from chaos. You are not letting disrespect slide. You are handling it with precision. People notice this. They notice you don't rush to react. They notice you don't get baited. They notice your emotional steadiness under pressure. From a Stoic perspective, this is emotional alchemy. What could have turned into drama becomes a moment of quiet authority. Each time you pause instead of react, you train your nervous system to obey your mind. And the next time disrespect appears, your body responds more calmly. The pause becomes natural. Control becomes familiar. Remember this: you do not owe anyone immediate access to your words. You do not owe anyone an emotional response. Pause, reframe, respond, or walk away. That is how a Stoic keeps power. 6. Hold your position. Don't shrink yourself. When disrespect hits, many people collapse inward without even realizing it. Their shoulders drop, their voice softens, they apologize for things they didn't do, they fidget, they look away. All of it happens in seconds. It feels like de-escalation, but it's actually surrender. Stoicism teaches a hard truth. Shrinking yourself never earns respect. It erases it. People do not respect what retreats. They respect what stands. Your posture is not decoration. It is communication. Long before words are processed, your body sends a message. When you shrink, you signal insecurity. When you hold your ground, you signal self-worth. A Stoic understands that dignity is expressed physically as much as verbally, through stillness, posture, breath, and presence. Think about the last time someone spoke sharply to you or tried to undermine you in front of others. You likely felt the instinct to look down, to soften your tone, to explain, to disappear. Now imagine responding differently. You stay where you are. You straighten your spine. You open your shoulders. You keep your chin level. You breathe slowly. No aggression, no posturing, no intimidation, just presence. That alone shifts the power dynamic. People instinctively adjust when they sense someone is grounded. They lower their tone. They reconsider their words. They feel resistance without confrontation. This is quiet authority. Here's how to execute it with precision. Posture: stand or sit upright. Shoulders relaxed but open. Feet planted. This is not about dominance. It's about refusing to collapse. When your body holds its space, your mind follows. Tone: keep your voice steady, not sharp, not rushed, not apologetic. A calm, even tone signals control, both of the moment and of yourself. Boundary sentence, if needed. If words are required, Use one clean line. That's not how I communicate. I'm not accepting that. Let's keep this respectful. No lectures, no justifications. One sentence is enough. Holding your position is not about overpowering someone. It's about refusing to make yourself smaller to make someone else comfortable. It's the understanding that you deserve to exist at your full height, your full voice, your full presence. When you stop shrinking yourself, you stop teaching people that they can shrink you. And once that lesson is learned, the dynamic changes permanently. 7. Withdraw your energy, the Stoic Endgame. There comes a moment when clarity replaces hope, not because you stopped caring, but because you finally saw clearly. You saw the pattern, you saw the repeated disrespect, you saw that every calm explanation was met with indifference, every boundary was tested, every effort to preserve dignity was ignored. And at that point, continuing is no longer strength, it's self-betrayal. Stoicism teaches that endurance has limits, and wisdom is knowing when you've reached them. The Stoic endgame is not confrontation, it is not revenge, it is withdrawal of energy, because energy is your most valuable currency. Where you place it determines your emotional stability, your mental clarity, your sense of self-worth. When you continue investing energy in someone who repeatedly disrespects you, you are silently telling yourself that your peace is negotiable. The Stoic refuses this bargain. Withdrawing energy does not look dramatic. There are no speeches, no ultimatums, no emotional exits. It looks quiet. You stop engaging emotionally. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop giving access to your inner world. You don't punish them. You remove yourself from what diminishes you. This shift is devastating, not because it's cruel, but because it removes what sustained the dynamic in the first place. Many disrespectful people do not thrive on connection. They thrive on reaction. They need your frustration, your defensiveness, your effort to be understood. When that disappears, the dynamic collapses under its own weight. And here's the Stoic truth most people miss. You do not need closure from someone who never respected you. Closure comes from clarity, and clarity arrives when you stop participating. Next comes redirection. You turn your attention back to your discipline, your goals, your growth, your peace, not as an escape, but as a return to what was